So I'm here in Roath Park in Cardiff. It's a sunny but quite windy day, and I'm going to be joined by someone who is a Welsh national treasure. They appeared on Series 2 of BBC's The Traitors. They've done a TEDx talk as well. Please welcome to the James Mack Show, he's a friend of mine too, Andrew Jenkins.
Good
welcome,
morning,
Andrew.
Good morning, James.
Now, shall we confess?
Yeah, go on.
This could be take 2 of this interview because I may well have forgotten to press the record button. So we may...
Very traitorish behaviour.
Yeah, well, it was definitely. But welcome to the show, Andrew, and hopefully we can cover some of the topics that we may have already or may not have spoken about already.
That was the first one, was a practice.
Yeah, it was a practice one, definitely. But yeah, thanks for joining me in Roath Park.
Well, thank you for the invitation.
This is like your neck of the woods, isn't
I love
it?
Yeah, so where I come walking sometimes. It's beautiful. It's a stunning park. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Oh, I love it.
It's nice.
Well, should we start from the beginning?
Yeah.
And let's talk about, I mean, obviously anyone that's watched BBC's The Traitors will know that you suffered a horrific accident, really, at the age of 21.
Yeah.
So kind of tell me about how that's shaped, I guess, your outlook on life.
Yeah, 20th of August 1999, I was involved in, like you say, a horrendous car accident where I was initially thought I was dead on the side of the road. So the car I was driving, I hit a curb on the left-hand side, flipped onto the right-hand side, and I went through the driver's side window, the door. So my legs were under the steering wheel, my top half of my body, my arm and my head dragged along the tarmac for a couple of hundred yards.
God.
And when the car finished sliding, it leant on top of me. So when the police, the ambulance and the fire brigade turned up at the vehicle, they initially thought I was dead. And there was 4 other people in the car and they didn't have a scratch on them, thankfully. Wow. So they had to lift the car off to get underneath the car to work on me. And then they had to give me a blood transfusion on the side of the road because I lost 6 pints of blood. And the average man has got between 10 and 12.
That's like half your blood gone.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? So I had no hair, no skin, nothing on top of my head, half my skull missing and a big hole in my arm. They took me to the one hospital, there's nothing they could do there. So they rushed me to a second hospital then where neurology was and plastic surgery. And also my parents, while all that was going on, had the knock on the door from the policeman that no parent wants to say, your son's been involved in a car crash, come with us now. And they were rushed to the hospital. Yeah, it was an awful experience, and I was in a coma then for a number of weeks in a coma. And when I woke out of my coma after 4 weeks, the doctor came around and said to me, you're never ever going to walk again. And my first response was, I guarantee I'll walk at the hospital. And he said, you won't. And I said, I will. And he said, you won't. And I said, I will. And my mother said it was embarrassing. Your man is trying to tell you you're not going to walk again, and you're arguing with him, telling you will. And I did. But I got out of bed for the first time after 2 months lying on my back. I literally couldn't find my legs. And the physio had to pick my feet up, put one in front of the other. And then 2 weeks after, I remembered to walk then. So, yes, I proved that medics are wrong, doctors wrong, I suppose.
Well, I know that's kind of one of your traits of being, not, I don't want to say stubborn, but pretty stubborn. Resilient, that's it, resilient. And certainly I've witnessed that firsthand because we climbed Penny Van. Yeah. Last April.
Good pronunciation.
Oh, look at that! I'm getting there. I'm not quite Rob Brydon's
Adopted
level
Welshman.
of that's it. Not quite Rob Brydon's level of Welsh, but there we go. And then we walked across the D-Day beaches in Normandy, and I guess that's kind of that's where I found out a little bit more about the real Andrew Jenkins because you see a lot on BBC's The Traitors, and I think we need to talk about The Traitors because. Before I came to this interview, I've spoken to a couple of friends and said, "Oh, do you watch The Traitors?" Because, to be honest, I never watched it before until I knew we were kind of going to go and walk the D-Day beaches. I thought, well, I probably should watch it, and I thought it was brilliant. But they did focus a little bit on buff Andrew. And
he still is buff.
Okay, still buff Andrew. But there was a lot of. I don't want to say gratuitous shirt-off nudity, or half nudity.
It's horrendous, I know. I wish they'd told me I was going to do them things before I went on the show. I would have trained a bit harder.
It must have been fun, though.
It was, yeah. It was a lot of fun.
What was kind of, because you've done loads of interviews about The Traitors, but what was the best thing on the show, or the most enjoyable thing that you remember?
Just the whole experience was fantastic, to be honest. There wasn't any bad bits. I can't think of any bad bits because I'd worked hard on my mindset and mental health way before that show, so I was in a good place going on the show. And it is a game at the end of the day. I kept telling myself it's a game, but I got to do some amazing things, and the castle's absolutely spectacular. The grounds, it looks amazing on television, but when you go there, it's just breathtaking. And it's just amazing. It's the only reason we're on the show is to get a profile on the platform to do what I do now. So I'm very grateful for that show to allow me to do what I do now, to be honest with you. So
brilliant.
Yeah, meeting Claudia was amazing, and everything, being in a helicopter. I was the only player that did everything. So I started as a faithful, finished as a traitor. I did every mission. I was in the dungeon twice. I was in the fire pit at the end. I did the end game. So I think out of all the shows, all the series, I've been the only player to do everything. I had the full experience, if you like. So it was amazing.
Wow, that's cool.
Good. Yeah, it was good.
That's really cool. And I guess that kind of led you on to what you do now, really, with speaking. And you did a TEDx talk recently, and it was the masks that men wear, which I really like that theme because, I mean, I think as kind of normal blokes, for want of a better phrase, we all kind of hide our feelings away, and we struggle to talk about them. I mean, I guess I'm luckier than most because I can always pick the phone up to you and offload a little bit. But what's the kind of the theme of that talk that you did there?
It's well, like I say, after my accident, they offered me counselling, but I refused it. I a therapist. They said, no, I'm a 21-year-old invincible, macho kid, I suppose. There's nothing wrong with me and my family. We were brought up. My mother and father are amazing people, lovely people, but love to us was expressed physically, not emotionally. The roof over my head, clothes on my back and food on the table, father working long hours to provide for his family. And like lots of men, the problem is with lots of men, especially in their 40s, 50s and 60s, we're told to suppress your feelings and emotions from a young age. If you fall over and hurt your leg, or don't cry, babies cry, don't be a girl. So you're told to suppress your feelings and emotions. And what happens in later life then, we don't know how to express our feelings and emotions, and that comes out in anger and frustration. So after my accident, I didn't speak to a professional, and I couldn't talk to my family. We don't talk about feelings and emotions. Rugby, boxing, football, but not feelings and emotions.
That's our discussion, isn't it, really?
So then I bottled my feelings. I wore a mask, basically, for 20 odd years of my life. And the first time I ever spoke to somebody about my accident properly was 15 years later.
Wow.
I went to see a counsellor, and she was amazing. She wasn't what I was expecting at all. She was like non-judgmental. She was just chat like this, I suppose. And after the first session, I know what's wrong with you. And I said, what's that, PTSD and depression? And she goes, yeah, you probably got them as well, but no, you're grieving. I said, grieving? I'm not dead, I'm standing here talking to you. She goes, no, all grief is the emotional reaction to the loss of any kind, not just the physical loss. You're grieving loss of identity. And people grieve all the time. When you lose your job, get made redundant, give up a sport, whatever it's going to be.
Any kind of loss, isn't
massive.
it, really?
So I was grieving, and there's 7 stages of grief. Number 7 is acceptance. I'm only there now. I don't know if I'm there fully yet, but I'm getting there now. But I was trapped between number 2 and 6 on a cycle. Like arguing, bargaining, why'd it happen to me? So lots of people watching this or listening to this will grieve, even if they haven't had a physical loss.
100%. I mean, I never really spoke about it, but I mean, certainly I've had a lot of kind of grief really in my life if I actually stop and think about it. I mean, certainly with my youngest Amelia, with what she went through with cancer, certainly I felt like I lost my identity a little bit last year when I left a job that I've been in for a long time. But like you say, if you can get to number 7, get the acceptance, you're going to move on.
But as men, we just get on with it, don't we? And some people don't even know they're grieving. So it's where when I do my talks, I get lots of people, I can see light bulb moments going off in the room thinking, I must have been grieving when I lost my job. I got divorced when I lost my relationship.
Of course.
It's massive. Everybody.
Anything at all that happens.
When a change in circumstances, I suppose, isn't it?
I guess for people listening, though, it's more kind of recognising that and then taking a little bit of courage and perhaps talking about those feelings.
Don't be hard on yourselves. Don't beat yourself up either. We're also hard on ourselves as a species. We're all beating ourselves up and pushing and striving for the next thing all the time. And very few of us press the pause button and stop and think we're doing all right in life. We're doing the best we can with the tools we've got available to us at that time. Don't be hard on yourselves, and also be courageous and brave and take that mask off and to speak to someone. 85% of what we worry about never comes true. 13% comes true, better than we thought. It's only 2% that comes true. So all that energy and worry and effort, just have that conversation. I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy, because it took me 24 years to speak to my family about the accident. So I know 15 years after I spoke to the counsellor, and then, and my life was literally a car crash. So I was jumping from relationship to relationship. And on the outside, my life looked amazing. I had the nice house, the car, the body, the good job. But on the inside, I hated my life. I wish I was dead. I wish I wasn't here anymore. I hated my scarring. I couldn't handle what I looked like. But on the outside, so I say to people now, is sometimes the people with the biggest smiles on their faces who are struggling the most. Don't judge anyone. Do you know what I mean? You know what's going on behind closed doors.
Absolutely.
And, I spoke to my family like 15 years after, and that's because I met the man who saved my life. I tracked him on Google, which is a bit creepy. I know.
No, that's fair.
I tracked him on Google. I went to see him and he said, you're a miracle. He said, you should be dead. He said, you should have died on so many occasions, Professor Ling. And then meeting him made me realise how close I came to death. I knew I was bad, but when you heard it from the horse's mouth.
And someone like that who's really knowledgeable and well respected.
He goes to Westminster by the government. Do you know what I mean? So you must be, you're not just in Wales, in the UK. And I went to see him, and after that, I wanted to start talking on my journey on social media to help other people. But I didn't want my family to find no third party because it involved them.
No, of course not.
So I sat my parents for the first time ever and spoke over the accident. And it was strange because I attached my value and my identity to playing rugby.
Yes.
Growing up at the age of 5, my dream was to play rugby for Wales. I don't know if I was good enough to do it. I don't know, maybe I could have. But the problem was, I thought that was my dad's love and affection. He'd come and watch all my matches. He'd be smiling. And when I couldn't play rugby anymore at 21, I thought, my dad didn't love me anymore. I never heard my parents say the words, I love you, but I understand now.
It's a generational thing, really.
They don't know how to express their feelings in it, but it's only the last couple of years I understood all that, the work I've done over the last studying over the last couple of years, but for years I just struggled with it. I'd see my 3 brothers playing rugby to a very good standard professionally. I'd see my dad listening to my brothers talking, to brothers smiling. I'd be sitting there thinking, what can I talk about? Nothing. I didn't fit in, I didn't belong in my own family. That's hard. There's probably people listening to this again who haven't belonged in their workplace, in their friendship circle. It's horrible being an outsider. Like, I didn't belong, I felt lost for years and years and years. And I started talking my journey on social media. So I sat my parents for the first time ever, 24 years after it happened, and talked about the accident. And it was a weird conversation. We had the conversation anyway. And
I bet it was quite liberating though to have that frank chat, really.
I'd never talked about a meaningful conversation with my parents about anything before, especially feelings and emotions. And they said to me, you changed after your accident, you went quiet and moody and miserable. I said, well, it's funny, whenever you speak to anybody outside my house who doesn't know me, I'm fine in my life and soul. But when I come in this house, I go in my shell. I didn't think Dad loved me anymore. I thought he was stupid, of course he loves you. I said, no, but I didn't think it at the time. I said,
it's your perception. Yeah.
I know. And that's the same in getting in life. We make things out in our heads, our thoughts.
Absolutely.
Well, then nothing.
And
people
it
say
might not
something.
even be the case.
Yeah, exactly. And my mother said, you changed, you're a different boy. The old Andrew's gone.
Yeah.
And I made that out in my head that I was different. I didn't belong in my own family. Even though she didn't mean that, she didn't say it from a place. She said it from a place of love.
Yeah, exactly.
She didn't say it on being nasty. That's just the way she is, isn't it? But we make things out in our heads sometimes much worse than what they are.
And it's not the case. It's what did someone call it once? The catastrophizing. Yeah. And I quite like that phrase. Yeah. It puts things into perspective a little bit for you.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And with the speaking and obviously being, I would say, quite an inspirational figure.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you. Pleasure. It's true. You've done a lot of work with the next generation, and I know that you've spoken to. I think you were telling me earlier. Was it Year 7, Year 8, and Year 9 children?
Yeah. I go to schools. I spoke to over 21,000 children across the UK now. Wow. 51 schools, college, universities, all around the UK. I'm talking in 2 schools this week to probably 2,000 children in total. One in North London, one in Romford, and one up in Scarborough.
God, so do a lot of miles.
A lot of mileage. But this is my purpose in life. Meeting the man who saved my life, it held a mirror up to me, I suppose, and made me realise, give me my purpose in life. So my purpose now is around the country, inspiring people and breaking lots of stigmas, like talking makes you weak. It doesn't. No. Talking makes you braver and stronger.
Absolutely.
And all I try and do, I'm not like some academic genius or some guru who gets up at 4 o'clock and meditates every day. I'm just a normal guy sharing my story.
But it's lived experience.
Yeah,
and I think, well, I mean, as kind of a normal bloke, I guess.
Yeah. I
relate to that much more than, like you say, an academic or someone that's never actually lived that kind of trauma and horrific experience.
And children are really lost at the moment. Then, like, my role models growing up are in a 10-mile radius. The internet I'm old, so the internet wasn't as big years ago.
Not that old.
It was probably dial-up where you had, it was a nightmare. Get off the phone downstairs, I'm on the internet. Oh, it was a nightmare. Kids watching this, they wouldn't have a clue. But yeah, so I'm from that generation, I suppose. And my role models growing up were either in my school, my local rugby clubs, I played rugby, or my football club, or my older brothers maybe. But now they're people all over the world. And I've been called the antidote to Andrew Tate by hundreds and hundreds of people. By hundreds of pupils in school, by teachers, by parents, because I grew up in that environment. I was in a rugby club at the age of 5. I was in a gym at the age of 14. I've been a bodyguard, close protection, security. So I grew up in environments where you're told to man up, where showing feelings is seen as a weakness. And I said jokes about girls when I was younger, but I thought, that's what men did. That's normal, that's what men did. Do you know what I mean? So.
But it's good that you can now kind of see that that's more on the kind of the scale of toxic masculinity, and it's more about understanding your feelings and talking about them. And
it was all physical stuff years ago, wasn't it? It was all strength. It was all like the 4 metrics how I measured my masculinity growing up, and I thought I wanted to be a man was how many pints I could drink, how many girls I'd been with, how many fights I'd won, how much I could bench press. There's no talk about feelings and emotions, all physical stuff like our fights and lifting weights and that. But I say, that's great. I say to young men now, that's great. If you want to be a strong boy in the gym, that's nothing wrong with that. But as long as you're in touch with your feelings and emotions and respectful to the opposite sex as well. I say to the kids in school, we're all born the same. Boy, girl, black, white. Nobody is better than anyone else. We're into different environments, different traumas, learned behaviours. We go on different paths. Nobody's born racist. Nobody's born homophobic.
No, we all develop those traits.
Exactly.
What about, I mean, my dealings with, I guess, the younger generation, because I'm 41, which is not not perhaps getting towards towards your age, but we're not far off, are we? Really, we're not far off.
Yeah.
But I deal with a lot of younger generations. I was gonna list them off then, but kind of about 20, 21, and I think that they've had it really, really tough, especially with COVID. I mean, they seem almost like the lost generation, and they've not had that social interaction. They weren't like us when we were growing up. You know, when I was 8 years old, I was off on my bike to the next village with my mates, staying up till till it got dark, and then being shouted at before because it was already dark when I got home. But I don't think. I mean, I've got 2 children, an 8-year-old and a 13-year-old, and I certainly wouldn't let my 8-year-old do half the things I did. But do you think that's because as parents maybe we're being overprotective, or
I get it.
Have they had a raw deal because of COVID?
COVID's tough, obviously, because isolation, and I don't know what the exact statistic is now, but they say, I know it's very high, a percentage of children are feeling lonely at the age between 11 and 18. And that blows my mind. Lonely. When I was a kid, God, I had hundreds of friends. I was never in the house. I was out playing football, kicking a ball and climbing trees and jumping in rivers. And I think, you know what I mean, there was lots of nasty but not nice people around years ago, I think.
Of course, yeah.
But then it wasn't highlighted because the social media now, it talks about it all the time, and I think it's the forefront of parents' mind all the time now. There's lots of people out there, strange people out there.
Yeah.
I think they were the years ago. Maybe there's more now. I don't know how many there are, but I think now, because we're seeing it all the time on the news, on the media, on the television, whatever.
I think it's more reported now than it ever was. But I mean, I probably got loads of stories about when we were in groups of 10, 12 kids, and there was something dodgy, and you
also had a little weirdo lived in the house. You go knock his door, you knock his front door and run away. You play rat-a-tat-ginger, I call it. You knock his door. You always had the weirdo
knock door run for me.
Yeah, you always had the weirdos in the area. But we always had them people years ago, but it wasn't a threat to you. It didn't seem as a threat now. It's like, oh, he's this and that, or she's this and that.
Yeah, that's it.
I understand that the internet has probably created more strange, I don't know, but they may be. I understand you want to protect your child. Of course you do. Obviously, it's natural, isn't it? But I think sometimes people are overprotected. We're not teaching our kids resilience. I think, failure in life. The only way you learn resilience is by losing, picking yourself back up and going again. And by not letting your children fail or lose or, how are they going to learn resilience? Wrap them in cotton wool, and eventually when they get older in work life, they're going to lose. You're not going to be able to achieve everything in life. It's impossible.
You have to fail. And I mean, there's so many examples in, business, inventors.
Richard Branson's been bankrupt. Every great in this world has failed over and over again. Now, Lionel Messi, World Cup at the moment, was told he was too small to be a footballer. Don't play football. One of the greatest ever. Michael Jordan, probably one of the greatest basketball players ever, was dropped from his college basketball team. Oprah Winfrey, one of the most influential women in the world, was dropped from her TV station. I can go on and on. There's so many people out there. Thomas Edison, the light bulb, failed 3,000 times, I reckon. If all these people gave up, we wouldn't have anything in the world, any great things in the world.
Light bulbs, would we?
Exactly, we wouldn't have any greats in the world, would we?
Bonkers.
But all these people have got a good purpose, a good why, and they've got a good vision, and they work hard, they've got discipline. And people say to me, I'm not motivated. No, motivation comes and goes. Elon Musk isn't motivated all the time. Ronaldo's not motivated all the time. What he's got this vision and plan, and he works hard. And like discipline's about doing the things you have to do every day to get where you want to be, even if you don't want to do it. I did bodybuilding, photo shoots years ago where I had to go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning when it's raining, cold. Do you think I wanted to go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning? But would I have got the results I wanted by lying in bed for another 2 hours?
Absolutely. Striving for that goal and that vision. Love that. And I don't think you talk about it enough. And you've done a massive amount for charity. I mean, I think back to doing that walk at Penny Van, which was painful for you because you'd had a bad knee, a very bad knee, and had steroid injections on the Wednesday. We did it on the Saturday. You've done such a lot of work for Headway and also some children's charities and things as well. Tell me a little bit about that.
I like giving back, to be honest. I'm on this planet. I'm trying to make the most of my life now. Do you mean? If you look up until, I say to the youngsters again, you did not. If you write a story about your, a book about your story, the first couple of chapters you can't decide that where you're born, the family you're born into, the environment. But you've got that pen in your hand now. Change the end in your story, or you can spend the rest of your life blaming your family, your teachers. No, take ownership and responsibility. Change your life, or you can spend the next 30, 40 years blaming everyone. In this country, we've got a massive blame culture.
We have.
But I say, so I love work. I want to give back now. Like the first couple of chapters of my story, what have I done? Get drunk every weekend, rugby club and that. But now I'm going to make sure the end of my story is a good one. If you want somebody wanted to read my book, the last couple of chapters is going to be a good one. And I got that choice now to write this. I want to give back to help other people now. And I love working with children. And I believe every single child in this world deserves a chance. Absolutely. Regardless of where they come from, their environment, their upbringing. we're all born the same, black, white, boy, girl,
Yeah.
in different environments. So I love working with like T Haven is the children's hospice in Wales,
Yes.
and Noah's Ark is the children's hospital in Wales.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And I work with these charities. It really makes you grateful and appreciate life. We think our lives are tough sometimes. You've got a bad day in work, but when you go to these places, it makes you think, God, I got nothing wrong.
It's heartbreaking. I mean,
Yeah.
I went through this at Birmingham Children's Hospital, Worcester Hospital, and it's heartbreaking when you see kids going through like leukemia, cancer,
Yeah.
all these kind of things, but they're all still happy and
Smiling,
being kids
resilient.
and smiling, and like I say, I mean that's a real kind of lesson about resilience.
Yeah.
But I guess the parents as well, because you must same as I have interact with the parents, and they know what's going to happen or what could happen, but they've got to stay strong for their child.
It's tough to me when people, when we have a trauma in life, like my accident, for example, it's not just me, it's not the person, it's not just the person who's had the cancer or whatever it's going to be, it's the ripple effect on the rest of the family. And obviously as you get older, the workplace as well, but it's the ripple effect as on the siblings, the brothers, sisters. Like when my accident, for example, I was in hospital for 4 months. My parents come to the hospital every day. My younger brother was 14. She was coming home from school every day to an empty house for 4 months.
Yeah.
But what impact did it have on him? My mother would prep his dinner or tea if you're posh. I call it tea in the night, but if you're posh dinner.
I call it tea as well.
I call it tea, but I go to London, they say, oh, tea. People look at me, oh, cup of tea. No, tea, food in the night.
Tea,
oh, it's dinner. That's not dinner, that's tea. Anyway, that's another conversation. But yeah, if you come home, we have it in the microwave or in the oven, his food would be there.
Yeah.
So, 14 for 4 months, what impact? I've had a conversation with him since, but, it's the ripple effect on the family. I've been Father Christmas for these charities, and, Christmas time, and you go and the child is so loving, joy, they're jumping on you. And their parents say to me, oh, thank you, that's the last Christmas my child is ever going to see. I used to break my heart. We've got to keep positive all day as Father Christmas. I couldn't break down, but like I get home at the end of every day, 8 hours as Father Christmas in hospitals are hot, and you're wearing this big suit, it's boiling hot.
Yeah.
We're on different hospitals, and I just cry for about an hour. I'd sit at the end of the bed and just cry.
Wow.
I get upset now, and it's heartbreaking. And the parents, they say thank you, like this is my last Christmas, and then I get a phone call a week or two later then saying, that little girl passed on after you saw her. Gosh. She passed away, or that little boy passed on, and thinking, I made an impact that person's life, made a difference to that family.
Massively. The parents will always kind of remember that, but also it's a happy moment for the child.
Memory, innit? The last memory. It could be the last memory they get, and to get a family together. Do you mean that's what I say when I do this work with charities now? That's you're not giving money to hospices or
it's
creating memories.
It's the impact.
Yeah, you're changing lives and creating lives and making memories. That family will last forever. Long after this event has gone on, whatever the event is I do, that's going to create memories for the rest of that person's life. It's
massive,
it's incredible.
Absolutely massive. And kind of switching gears a little bit, and it's a question that I ask pretty much everyone that comes on the James Mack Show, but if there was going to be a movie made about your life so far, who would play you and why? And I've got someone as well that I think it could be.
It's a big question.
And it doesn't have to be an actor; it could be
it doesn't look
anyone.
like me, do they?
Well, you can be. You've got kind of creative license to.
Growing up, right, I was a massive being a macho boy. I was if you're growing up. I loved the old action heroes like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
I loved Commando. Predator was on the telly last. I loved Predator as a class film. And it's a bit cheesy. Look at it now, he's Arnold looking back and watching. Some of the one-liners are brilliant. But something like that. But in the modern day, I love Tom Hardy. I think he's such a talented actor and in Legend as well. When he plays both the Cray brothers. It's mind-blowing. You watch it back, brilliant. It's incredible.
The best one for me, though, for Tom Hardy is always Bane in Batman.
He's a beast.
And kind of the size he's got there, I think he'd be really good for you.
Yeah, he could play me. I'm a big guy.
Arnold Schwarzenegger would be an interesting one, because how would he get on with the Welsh accent?
Austrian, Welsh. Yeah, it'd be a tough, American, it'd be a good accent, wouldn't it?
It'd be an interesting watch, definitely.
That was a terrible accent.
I'm not sure where that one was from.
I don't know, Indian, I think, I don't know. I don't know what that was.
Love it. And I'm really, really lucky. I mean, I'm doing community radio here on Shoreditch Radio, trying to break into, I think, mainstream a little bit.
It's a great show.
Thanks, appreciate it.
It's amazing. I remember this conversation we had walking across the Normandy beaches, I think, when you said you were going to do it.
Yeah, I said I was going to do it, and I'm one of those, again, stubborn, resilient, don't know which one we're going to go for, but let's go with stubborn, I think. But stubborn people that if I say I'm going to do something, I have to go and do it, even if it's at great personal cost. But yeah, so I'm really, really enjoying it, and I get to speak to great people like you.
Obviously.
I know I'm lucky because you're a mate though, but so I get that one. But I've spoken to thanks. I've spoken to the voice of Jet2 Holidays advert, Zoe Lister.
Say what she do? What's the jingle?
So it's Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. Maybe I should do it next.
Is she watching it? If she's watching this,
Zoe will be watching this because Zoe's from Shoreditch,
okay.
which is where I live, and she says that she's a fan of the show as well. So how about that? I've also spoken to Rich Archer from Hardfi, one of the bands I absolutely loved. Nigel Clark from Dodgy. Hopefully you remember Good Enough.
Yeah, good enough for me is good enough for you.
Pop star as well.
Welsh dodgy.
That's it, Welsh dodgy.
Or very dodgy, I should say.
Probably, yeah, erring on the dodgy side there. And I've spoken to another mate of mine, Rich Wolfenden from Radio X, who's also a football commentator on the BBC and Sky.
Nice.
Who else have I chatted to? Lots and lots of up-and-coming bands.
Andrew from The Traitors.
Andrew Jenkins from The Traitors as well.
Yeah, good guy he is.
He's all right. He's all right. And then I've got a couple in the pipeline, which I'm not going to kind of name drop too much, but do you remember the Seahorses?
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely love Seahorses. So Chris Helm from the Seahorses is hopefully coming up soon because I'm hosting an event that he's doing to an intimate audience of 50 people in Shoreditch.
Oh, nice.
So that'd be cool.
Nice.
But who do you think, Max, I should chat to next? And it could be Traitors related or anyone really.
I'm a big, I think he's a competitor of yours maybe we get as big as him one day. A massive Chris Evans fan.
Oh wow, yeah, I wish.
Chris Evans, he's brilliant, and he's all a well-being. Obviously, he's a big part of my life now. He's turned his life around from when he was a party animal.
Oh gosh, yeah, when he was with Billy Piper,
TFI.
Yeah.
And also Claudia Winkleman. She's a great host,
brilliant
guest on the show. She's amazing.
I bet she's got some great stories from the Traitors, but also Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah, she's not on there anymore. She's
no, but the stories,
television, I think, at the moment.
Stories she must have, like from all the celebrities that have been on there that have kind of done some weird things.
She's amazing. She's such a nice person, lovely, down-to-earth woman, and I met lots of, of course, celebrities, but people. I've never been starstruck in my life, to be honest, and the only person I've ever been starstruck by is Cristiano Ronaldo. Love him.
Wow, that's cool.
Fan. I know people don't like him, he's arrogant, but I think he's just an elite athlete. Well, and he could be on the show. Get him on your show.
Oh, gotcha. Well, talking of famous people, the last person I interviewed was a chap called Adam Barry, who was in a band called Merrymouth with Simon Fowler from Ocean Colour Scene.
Right, okay, yeah.
Adam also founded Shoreditch Revival, where Chris Helm's playing end of this month.
Right.
And he was telling me a really, really good Tom Petty story, because who doesn't love Tom Petty?
I do love that.
What an absolute star.
Yeah.
I think he's probably the only person, well, maybe one of the few people.
He's on my playlist, Tom Petty. Yeah.
Oh, I love it, love Tommy. But I'd get kind of starstruck with him, I think. Yeah. But never really happens, because like you say, people are people. It doesn't matter whether they're, poor man in the street, King of England.
Just good at their jobs. I think their job. They're a good singer, good footballer, good actor. I'm good at my job.
That's it. But that said, if Chris Evans is watching or listening, or Claudia Winkleman is watching or listening, then drop me a DM. It's at MrJames_Mac on Instagram. I'd love to have you on the show. But thanks so much for joining me today, Andrew. And I think we're probably going to go for a walk now around Rove Park.
Yep, look at the Rose Garden.
Oh, I love it. But before we go, music is a big thing on my show. Is it a big thing in your life?
Massive. It's been a huge part of my... It's pulled me through some very dark days, and I don't like to say they were dark days, tough days.
Yeah, tough times.
And my playlist is very varied. If you saw my playlist, it's random.
Love it. Well, let's pop a record on. Is that a thing still? I normally say track.
Record?
I know, I'm sounding like John Peel then. We'll put a quick record
Dave
on.
Lee Travis.
Oh, God, no, we can't mention DLT, can we? No. But is there a particular track that you'd like to hear on the show? Just for you?
Yeah, it's different to what your listeners are probably used to on your show, but
I'll play anything, me. I love it.
I love Jessie J's "Who You Are," and I think if you actually listen to the words, it's very powerful. So people trying to fit in to other people's expectations, live to everybody else's expectation, but taking your mask off and being who you are. Basically, I done that a couple of years ago. I took my mask off, or my cloak, my trader's cloak. I'm now living my life the way I want to live it, being authentic and real.
Oh, I love it. That's literally my watchword, authentic, because I mess up, as I did earlier, and I don't think I pressed record earlier, but anyway.
Always look for the positives.
Well, exactly.
Get to spend more time with me.
Exactly. We get to have a bit more of a laugh, which is cool. So here for you, Andrew, and listeners there, you at home, here is Jessie J with Who We Are on the James Mack Show on your Shoreditch Radio. That's recorded this time, hopefully.
Oh, don't go with that.